Hey, everybody, on this episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing, we are going to take a look at Cottrell and Taylor. We're also going to take a look at Mbilli back in Quebec from this past Saturday. Also, guys, it is finally time. Matchroom versus Queensbury, 5 versus 5. It's going to be a thick card. Cannot wait for that. Guys, all this and so much more on this episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing. So strap in and thank you for letting us into your ears. Hey, everybody, welcome back to another episode of SAMP&CHANCE Boxing. Happy Thursday, happy Friday Eve. Hello, Mr. Michaels. How are you, brother?
Doing pretty good. How about you?
Can't complain, man. The weekend is only a day away. So, I mean, that's always a good feeling to have.
Yeah.
You work hard and you really appreciate the days that you have off. I was saying this to someone the other day. If you do nothing with your life and you do nothing with your time, every day is like Sunday. You
Yeah.
do
It's
not
true.
appreciate a Friday night. You do not appreciate the weekend. And you do not appreciate that feeling most of us have on a Sunday evening because we know we have to go back to work. So, to all the lazy
Yeah.
people out there who don't want to get off their asses or do anything to be a better person, the weekend isn't for you. So, we don't care that you're not excited. Agreed?
Agreed. Well said.
All right. All right. So we got that out of the way. Why don't we get right into it? Round number one. And today we're going to do something a little different, Mr. Michaels. We talked about it. I think we need to devote 2 rounds to this 5 versus 5. What do you say?
I totally agree with that.
All right. So before we get to that, let's get into the stuff that happened this weekend. Why don't we start with Taylor and Cottrell? I mean, I'll be honest, man. I was not expecting that. It's very rare that the second match is better than the first one, and this was the case here. My takeaways from it: really, Josh Taylor looked the exact same he did 2 years ago in their first fight. He really didn't make any changes or anything. So you would think Cottrell would have an easier time knowing how to navigate, but Cottrell seemed to have a hard time too. This match was fairly even through and through, man. What do you think?
I'm not surprised it went like this. Both guys want to beat each other back. They don't like each other, right? So this is a match. They're coming out hard. They both fought hard. I mean, the refs got it right. Some people think that Taylor won, but no, he didn't. But it wasn't that far fetched for you to think that. But these guys went hard. They came hard. They're hitting each other with bombs. I mean, Cottrell had him winning. I think you did too. It was a good fight. It's what we wanted. Part two was better than part one, and we're gonna have to see a trilogy now because they're 1-1.
I think we're
I
going
know
to
Cottrell wants to go for the belt and stuff, but Taylor's gonna want a rematch, right? Because we're 1-1 now.
fact that these guys fought the way they fought with nothing on the line except their pride and their legacies. I mean, maybe that's even bigger than a title at some point in a guy's career, right? But just the way they worked, and Cottrell had his moments there, and I think the reason he won is because you did shake him up, and you got the standing 8 count in that one round, right? So I mean,
He
the
did.
eighth or ninth was it that he got this? He faced him, but then Taylor came back and kind of shook him up a little bit. So one, I think Cottrell needs to work on his gas tank if they're going to have a trilogy here, because I
Well,
don't
I think
think.
he's just punching himself out. He
Well,
was
he's
going so hard,
but if he's going to move up and to different competition, if he's looking at a Teo, if he's looking at anyone else at that 140 range, he's not going to have the same success. I mean,
No,
this is where Taylor, in my opinion, why he was undisputed champion, because he could compete against those guys and he had the gas tank, right? But yeah, ultimately at the end of the day, I don't agree with two of the cards. I'm okay with the 15-13. I still say, yeah, the right guy won. He got
yeah, he
he did
edged it out.
enough. Cottrell did enough to win the fight, and I think that knockdown helped him considerably. Otherwise, without the knockdown, this would have been a draw.
Uh, yeah, the 10-8 round.
We lost Mr. Michaels. Where are you, Mr. Michaels? Come back to us, sir. Mr. Michaels, where are you? There you
I'm right
are.
here, bud. Yeah.
We lost you again, man.
Yeah, I was talking the whole time. Yeah. No, Cottrell had more in the tank. He had a little more edge. His punch had a little more steam on him. Taylor tried hard. He just looks a little bit older. He looks a little bit, I don't want to say tired because he fought hard. We're going to see, I think Cottrell will fight here or somebody like that next, somebody along that lines. But we're going to see Taylor Cottrell 3 to put this to bed once and for all, especially because the first two matches were so good and so controversial. You have to have part 3. It's going to be going down within a year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to it, but let's see where they go with this, man. But I mean, just keep in mind, Taylor's lost 2 in a row now.
Yep.
So I don't know.
But he's got that win over Cottrell, and Cottrell's going to want to win that trilogy, and Taylor's going to win that trilogy. So, and they'll have good money because they're building hype off of it.
All right, why don't we stay with this fight and go to the next round here? I wanted to talk about Mr. Bob Arum a bit because he's become more and more vocal on the mic as time's progressed here. It's almost, he's come to that realization that with my age, I can see whatever I want. But at the end of the day, the man's earned his right to see whatever he wants. I mean, he is the longest reigning promoter in boxing, right? So why don't we
Not
take
even the longest reigning, one of the greatest promoter of all time.
absolutely. Why don't we take a look at his comments and then we'll break them down, man, and tell me what you think. All right.
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Bob wants to
I
speak.
saw the fight like everybody else. Those scorecards were a disgrace, were an absolute disgrace. And I really feel sorry for Josh. I thought he won the fight, but those scorecards were ridiculous. And that's the lesson. I will never, ever allow an American fighter to come here with this British board scoring the fight. Those scores were ridiculous.
And there you go, man. Bob Arum, he letting it all out. He was said it was a disgrace. This is ridiculous. Your thoughts on Mr. Bob Arum and his commentary?
I love Bob Arum. He's one of the greatest promoters of all time, the greatest boxing promoter of all time, hands down. Maybe the greatest promoter of all time. There's only one man who got that claim. That's Vince McMahon. These are 1A and 1B. These guys are genius. These guys are brilliant. 90 and 80 still kicking butt. So I love Bob. I don't agree with what he said. I thought Cottrell won. It wasn't quite as outrageous as Bob made it out to be, but that's his boy. He loves Josh Taylor. That's his fighter. He thought the rest are bad. And if he wants to speak his mind, or thought the judges were bad, if he wants to speak his mind, good for him. It's his card. And sometimes these judges need to it's a little pressure on them. You know what I mean? Not saying they got it wrong this time. They did get it right, but we've seen a lot of bad decisions. So Bob was choked. I let his feelings be known, and I had no problem with it. Don't agree with him, but I got no problem with what he did. Good for him.
Yeah, well, I think yeah, he said I think Taylor won in the statement, right? But ultimately, I think he was more disgusted by the two cards.
Yeah,
two of the three. Like I think he would have accepted it was 15, 13 across the board.
No. He wanted. He said this is basically used. I'm not quoting him, but he's basically this is blasphemy. Taylor won. These judges are morons. Basically, to sum it up.
Right. But I think it was the cards that blew him up, right? I mean, he would have accepted it if it was a closer fight. Like, he would still said Taylor won. Mm-hmm. But, in hindsight, I think he would have been easier with it if he didn't hear those two other cards, right? Yeah. Which were just off the board. Like, what were those guys watching? I mean, I get that from him, right? Do you think he went too far with the whole, I'm never bringing an American fighter here to fight because of the British board? So, well, how much do these commissions hold? Like, I don't think
absolutely not. That's Top Rank is one of the big dogs in town. If that's how he feels and want to bring his fighters there, he's putting pressure on them, saying clean up the judging. Not saying the judges were right on this. Maybe the cards could have been some of the rounds I thought were closer, but either way, they had the right guy won. So if that's what he wants to say, that's his company. I got no problem. But he will eventually do that.
No, 100%. But I mean, judging across the board, doesn't matter where you are, is shit. Generally speaking. I mean, we'll get into it with the 5-1 versus 5. Nick Ball, that guy totally got screwed. You know what I mean? And that's in Saudi. I mean, and then you look at the Fury Nagano fight, that was totally wrong, honestly. Right? Again, Saudi. And then we get this in North America all the time. So, I mean, it's no different wherever you go. You're always going to get some shitty ass judging, man. So, I don't know.
I thought the Fury Nagano card was right only because if you score by who landed the punches and won the rounds, Fury won more rounds. He got knocked down. But yes, overall, the judging is bad. One of the worst judging I've seen in a long time was Lomo and Haney. We know Lomo won. They robbed them. So, what happens all the time is just you're never going to clean it up because you got three judges. They're viewing it. We view it from our bias a little bit. They're viewing it, scoring rounds, controlling, effective punches, all kinds of stuff they take into consideration that the average guy was looking at. It's not taking that into consideration. In saying that, they do get it wrong a lot of the times. I don't blame Bob for what he did.
But look, okay, I can understand it being an issue in UFC because they're still young and they don't really have they're using boxing guys to judge UFC. They're using boxing guidelines to judge UFC, right? I mean, you figure boxing's been around forever. Why not have the judges in a separate room on a monitor watching it like everyone else?
Because you don't hear the thud of the punches.
Okay, then have them ringside. Have them ringside. but have them watch monitors opposed to having to watch it from an angle. Like, I mean, no matter where you sit, you're never going to have a great angle. So, I mean, shouldn't a judge be in front of a monitor? Like, I don't know. I'm just thinking.
The only problem with the monitor stuff is you take your head down, you look down, you could miss something. Boxing has happened so
A
quick. So
lot of the
that's why
times,
they just have the paper.
a lot of times you'll actually go to the judges and they're on their fucking phone. They're not even watching the fight.
No, during the fight they're watching. They're not allowed to have their fight on in the rounds. Only in between rounds or after the phone. But while the fight's on, you can't touch your phone. You'll be kicked out. Even when we do our little boxing shows out here, there's where the judges sit. There's 2 security guys on each side. You're not allowed to go walk past there or go anywhere around them, even if you're not even saying nothing to them while the fight is on. And the security guys stand there because they don't want, even this is on a low level, this is amateur, they don't want any sort of corruption. Slip the guy $100. Hey, my fighter Bob hit Jerry in the face.
Yeah.
No. So they're very strict about it. It is a hard sport to judge, but they get it wrong a lot.
Yeah, they do. All right, man. That's that. Let's talk about the shortest fight of the night, of the weekend. Christian Mbilli just showing us all he is ready for the big time. Or is he ready for the big time? Here's the thing, man. I had to go pick up my car yesterday. So I thought, oh, this is perfect. I got some time. I'm gonna watch this on the train. Got comfortable. I turned it on and it was over in 30 seconds. This kid's a savage, man. I mean, take nothing away from Kid Dynamite, but I mean, he just got plowed by a shot that he just never recovered from. 30 seconds. Here's the thing. I wish I could see more of him because I just feel like we're not seeing enough of him. Like, my only concern is if he gets in there with a top 10 guy, will he fare as well? Your thoughts?
Oh, he'll be just fine. The guy is so strong, so fast, and so young. Heffernan had no chance. I thought he lasted longer than that. He had no chance. You could see in the fight he started punching. He was scared. He backed up right away. He got bullied. He didn't deserve to be in the ring, but that's what this fight was. Heffernan's record looks great, but it was a tune-up fight from Mbilli. Now he's going to fight Derevchenko. That'll be happening soon. And he's been in there with Triple G. He's been in some tough guys, Derevchenko, so he knows how to fight. And that, in saying that, Mbilli's younger, he's stronger, he's more skilled. Number 2 super middleweight ranked in the world. He can beat Derevchenko. He's going to start getting some title shots. He's calling out Canelo guys. No, that's not going to happen. But he looks good, man, and they love him in Quebec. And he's not really known over here on the West Coast. But get the fight with Derevchenko, get him on top rank on one of those ESPN cards, which it will be. Get him a little more known. He's a bright future, and he hits hard. And they knew the left hook was coming. They knew he does the left hooks to the body, to the head, and nothing Heffernan could do. He was just too quick, too strong. And I don't even think he wanted to be in there.
Well, I mean, I looked at the clock, it was 30 seconds, but when he delivered that shot, it was like 22 seconds. So, I mean, this guy finished this thing in basically 20 seconds, right?
Yeah.
There's really not much more to say on this, really. But the match
But he's
was
stepping up big time in competition now against a legit fighter. So,
well, that's it, right? That's where the next step is. But this was on ESPN. It was uncontested. There was nothing going up against it. So, the exposure should have been good for him here in North America, within America itself, right? Because, I mean, most of everything else happened during the day, and there was no UFC on Saturday night either. So this was completely left alone.
well, they had hockey, they had basketball, there's some other stuff they're up against, but yeah,
There wasn't any other combat sport really competing against it, right? That's the way I look at it. So, I mean, overall, congratulations to Mbilli, great Canadian kid, gone in descent, but I mean, calls Montreal home. I'm happy with him, man. I really like the direction of this guy, and let's see what they do with him. And
well, his next fight's already said. He's fighting Sergey Derevchenko. That's coming up in like 3 months or so. That's already been said. So that's who he's fighting. He knows it. Derevchenko knows that it's going down. He's a tough fighter, but Mbilli will take him down. He's too young, too strong. Too fat. Yeah, Mbilli will beat him. Yeah.
Interesting.
He just looks too skilled. And Derevchenko's tired, man. He's had so many wars. He's mid-30s now.
Yeah.
He'll be a game fighter. He's not going down in 30 seconds. I'll tell you that.
Fair enough. All right, brother man, we got that one in the bag. It's time for the final 2 rounds, the championship rounds, as we want to call them here on Samp and Chance. Before we get into it, this is the 5 versus 5 Queensbury. Let's give a little bit of insight on it before we break it all down. All right. So basically what we have here is Turkish, Kazakhstan Turkish. He's basically decided that he wants the two of the biggest promotions in the world to go head to head. They pick 5 guys each. So the way it went down, Matchroom had 2 choices, 2 picks of weight. Queensbury had 2 picks of weight, and His Excellency was going to pick one himself. So Queensbury picked heavyweight and middleweight. Matchroom picked featherweight and light heavyweight as their two choices, and His Excellency decided to pick the heavyweight division. Now, before we get into the rounds here and break down these fights, let's just talk about the scoring system here a little quickly. All right. So 1 point for a win, 2 points if it's a ref stoppage or a KO. So decision gets you 1 point, KO or stoppage gets you 2 points, and the captains of each team are double points. So if they win by decision, the captain, it's 2 points opposed to 1. And if it's a stoppage or a KO, it's 4 points opposed to 2. So just a little bit of insight on of
Yeah,
it here.
I like how they're
Okay.
doing that too. I like that.
Yeah, so it's kind of, gives everyone a bit of an incentive here. Now, the big thing on this card was supposed to be Bivol versus Bitterbeef, but Bitterbeef got hurt. Bivol is still on this card. He's going to be defending against Malik Zaid. Zaid for
Zaid.
a light heavyweight title. That is not the main event anymore. It's going to be the co-main event. But they are rebooking that, so that probably will happen at the end of the year. I mean, Dimitri should walk out of this match unscathed and set us up for that. But yeah, I'm glad they kept him on the card. I'm glad they found an opponent for him. It's not what we wanted.
Malik Zaid's undefeated. He's relatively unknown, but he'll be a game fighter. But yeah, this is Bibble's. This is a layup for him.
Yeah, but it's a layup for him, and just to keep him busy, right? I mean, just to justify the training crown. All right, let us get into it here, and boom, here we go. All right, let's start with Deontay Wilder versus Big Bang Zhang. So just so you know, Deontay Wilder is the captain for Matchroom. This is going to be the main event for the night. Right off the bat, I think, you know what? We got two guys coming off of losses to the same kind, Joseph Parker. Deontay wasn't even throwing any punches in that fight. Probably the worst fight I've ever seen him in. Zhang, he fared a little bit better. He had his moments, but at the end of the day, he didn't get the victory here. I am going to go Deontay Wilder because I think he has something to prove. The only thing that Zhang can do, but here's the thing: Deontay can take you out with one punch, but Zhang will break you down and then take you out, sort of a deal. If Deontay's coming back with this new renewed energy and he feels like, and even he says that he was shit in that fight, right, against Parker, but he feels rejuvenated, he feels good, he's ready to go. I'm going to go with Deontay on this one. The only thing that would stop him is the belly fat that Zhang has, because he can absorb a lot more. But I think Deontay wins this one, and I think it's going to be a knockout or a stoppage. So 4 points for Matchroom.
Complete opposite. I think I'm going to take Zhang here. I thought about it for like 30 seconds there a couple of days ago. But I said, "There's no way Wilder." Wilder looked absolutely terrible last fight against Parker. Couldn't move. He was getting smashed around by a little guy, getting bullied. I just think he's lost his fastball. He's almost 40 years old. People forget that. Zhang, although he lost, he packs that punch. He's a better boxer. He's more technically skilled, and he's a southpaw. And I think he presents way too many matchup problems for Wilder. Wilder of 5 years ago, yeah, he would have took Zhang, knocked him in the front row. Wilder doesn't have anything left after what Fury did to him. We've seen it last fight. He looked horrible. Zhang he's a skilled boxer. He's big, strong. They're both big and strong. I can't wait for this fight. My money's on Zhang. Give me the one and only, Mr. Zhang.
Yeah, Zhang
takes us down. He's going to finish Wilder. I have him finishing by the 7th round. I just think Wilder's
going 4-0. Okay, write your stuff down. So we got Queensbury there. You got them 4-0. I got them 4-0 the other way. All right.
Yep.
Very quickly, Flip Hrgovic, Daniel Dubois, the other heavyweight match here. I'm going Hrgovic all day. I just think he's just more experienced, and I think he's just going to finish Dubois quickly here, man. I think it's going to end up in a ref stoppage or a knockout. I'm going Hrgovic.
I'm with you on Hrgovic. I don't think he's going to stop him. I think we're going to get a decision out of this. I just think seeing 2 knockouts and 2 big heavyweight fights is almost too easy to say that. It's just. But yeah, Flip Hrgovic is undefeated. He's tough. This is supposed to be for the IBF title. They're going to strip it off the Usyk, but they never did. So either way, this is a good fight. Dubois is no joke. He's a game fighter too. But yeah, Flip's undefeated and he's on his way up. And yeah, Flip's got this. But I think unanimous decision. I got Flip Hrgovic.
Well, here's why I look.
Should be a great fight though. Should be a good fight.
Wilder and Zhang have one thing going for them. They're both in their 40s, so it's a bit more of an age matchup is even there. I just think Deontay is just going to come out to prove something, man. That's just my opinion. All right,
saying he looked like crap now, but we'll see.
Well, let's
We'll
see.
see.
Like, I mean, we've seen other guys look like crap and then just rebound like a champion, right? Like, so
But
we'll
at
see.
40 is another ball game. We'll
Against
see.
another
Maybe he will. Might.
against another 40-year-old, he has a better chance of pulling it off, in my opinion. All right, let's
See?
get into the next round here. We only got 2 matches in that, so we got to speed this up a little bit here. All right, let's start the next round. And here we go. We're going to go right to Raymond Ford versus Nick Ball. The WBA featherweight title is on the line. Okay, so we know that Ford won the title with 7 seconds left in his title match. I mean, he looked pretty good, but he did take a beating here. He's going up against a Nick Ball who was robbed. And this guy's just like a little bulldog. He's going to be
Oh,
a
yeah.
much more difficult challenge for Ford. I'm going the other way here. I'm going Nick Ball. I think Nick Ball is going to win this one, man. He's angry. He wants to, get back what he lost, and I think he's just going to come out with this kind of never say never kind of attitude, in my opinion. And I just think because he can take so many shots, it's going to wear down Ford, and Ford's going to end up losing this match. I say it's going to be Nick Ball by decision.
This is a good fight. These are both good fighters. Yeah, I'm with you on this one. I got Ball. He's got something to prove. He's angry. He's not to say that Ford isn't, but he's angry. He's motivated. He's hungry. I think he's going to come out fast, do a fast start. I think he's going to win the first 4 or 5 rounds. And I see, Ford getting the middle rounds. And then I see Ball closing the show, winning a unanimous decision. But we could see some fireworks in this fight because
no,
Ball
100%.
wants to finish him.
Yeah, no, this is one of the highlight matches, in my opinion. I think this is going to be a great match. I just think that at the end of it, decision, Ball. You
First half of the fight, I got Ball. Middle half, I got Ford taking over around 5-6. Then I say there were around 10-12. Ball's going to close the show, but he's not going to stop him. Neither guy's going to get stopped, I don't think. Nicholas Ball, unanimous decision.
All right, let's move on here. An all England matchup. Austin Amo Williams versus Hamaz Shirzad. This is the captain for Queensbury, a middleweight bout. Interesting fight here. You got 2 different styles. You have southpaw versus orthodox. You got one guy that looks like a the rock'em sock'em kind of boxer kind of style. Hazard's jab's pretty solid too. This is a tough one to call here too, man. Both guys are pretty intent on hurting one another. But you know what though, man? I think Austin's gonna pull this off, man. Because Hazard's already got something else lined up. They haven't announced it, but it's supposed to be a big fight after this one. So I don't know if his mind's going to be in here. A lot of pressure of being captain as well. With the big fight coming up, he's got a lot more to lose. I think this fight comes down to who makes the smallest mistake. Really, in my
If I
opinion.
make a quick prediction because we only got 20 seconds left, we got to get the Dimitri Bivol fight. I got Williams in the decision.
All right, fair enough. All right, so you got Williams in decision. I got Williams in decision. Last but not least, Frank Spider Richards versus Riley Hutchinson light heavyweight title match. I don't know, man. I don't know too much about either one of these guys. I think
Nobody does.
A filler match to kind of open up the card. I think this is the one that's going to open up the card, anyways. And then we'll just leave it at that. I don't really know who to pick here, but you know what? I'm gonna go Riley Hutchinson. I think he's coming off of 2 losses, but I think Matchroom was putting a lot of faith in him, so he wants something to prove. So that's my decision. Riley Hutchinson in by 1 round or by decision.
Yeah, this probably open up the card. Yeah, like I said, this is the least best fight of the card, but we'll see what happens. But yeah, Hutchinson, he's the favorite. He's the betting favorite. He should take it. Now here's the biggest lopsided fight of the night. Dimitri Bivol versus Malik Sandeep. He is a 33-1 underdog. That goes to show you he's getting no respect. So if you want to put $100 on Malik, you're going to win $3,300. That's a good money back. You got to put $3,300 on Bivol to win $100. Nobody's doing that. This will be an easy. Bivol doesn't really finish guys. Bivol's going to put on a boxing clinic. He might be able to stop him in the later rounds. I'm going to take Bivol via TKO round 9, round 10. Ref will stop it. I don't think he's going to knock him out, but Ralph will get in there. Zanid's undefeated. He's 22-0, but he's never been in there with anybody close to the likes of Dimitri Bivol.
When I look at this fight, I am reminded of Bivol versus Yard in the other Saudi matchup that they had recently, like Bivol's last fight. I think it's going to be a one-sided fight again, where it's just Bivol taking his time. Bivol taking his time. Bivol can end it when he wants to end this fight, in my opinion, and he can make it as long as he wants. I think it's just going to be target practice. To be fair, take nothing away from Malik, but the reality of it is, it's just going to be target practice, and Malik might get a lick in here or there, but for the most part, it's to Bivol's discretion, in my opinion. Now, weirder things have happened in boxing, but that being said, this is just the way I see it being played.
The betting odds say it all.
Yeah.
The sharks are saying easy night, Dimitri Bivol. Anything can happen, but yeah, he's gonna box circles around him. He's gonna TKO 9th round.
All right, so based on our scores, for me anyways, I have Matchroom winning this 6. I got 6 for 6, 8, 8-1. 8-1 for Matchroom.
Well, we're on the same fights. The only difference we have is Zhang and Wilder.
Yeah.
So everything's the same.
Yeah. So this is
Besides that
interesting one. But that being said, who knows, man? Who knows? I think the one, the highlights for me here is the Nick Ball Ford match. I'm really looking forward to that. And definitely, Zhang and Wilder, just to see what can happen there. The rest of it looks amazing.
Devon Herkovich is going to be good too, man. Devon's a game fighter. Like, he's no joke. So that'll be good.
4 of the 5 can be main events on any card. Except the Craig Richards fight. You know what I mean? Other than that, the rest of these can hold their own on any card as an individual. Can't go wrong with that there. All right, brother man, we've covered it all. We got it all in the bag there. So what do we have?
There's one thing we didn't talk about. Mike Tyson, quickly, the little medical scare. Yeah, that was the ulcer that flared up. He got sick and got dizzy.
Yeah. He something, his ulcer or something acted up. I don't know if this is going to affect the fight. I guess it's not, but
no, it's still on.
No. I know it's still on, but I mean, in terms of people, shouting at it even more now, like, oh, now he's sick and you're going to beat up a sick old man.
No. This is just also that flared up. He'll get some medication. He got dizzy, felt sick. They didn't know what it was. So he panicked when you're on the flight. He'd be fine in a few days and he'd be out there banging the pads.
Oh, dude, when you're like 35,000 feet in the air, anything can happen, right?
The man is a heavy weed smoker. One joint is equivalent to smoking 20 cigarettes. People think weed is innocent. It ain't quite that innocent. Not smoking it in. It's bad for your lungs. So he smokes weed like a chimney. So yeah, it starts to break your body and your cells down, man, when you're almost 60 years old. So I mean, it's going to happen.
Going through withdrawal because he said that he stopped all this stuff for training camp. So
yeah, but it doesn't take away the 40 years he's been blazing dope, right?
I get all that, but I mean, you got to also take into account how much that must be affecting his internal system.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes the worst thing for an addict is to get off their drug, because that could actually kill you. Amy Winehouse, prime example. She quit drinking, this and that, but because the shock of not having alcohol in your system is what killed her, right? And that's happened to a lot of famous people. I want to go clean. I want to try the new path, but they do too. It's like, I hate to say it, man, but you can't go cold turkey on drugs. You got to wean yourself off of them.
Yeah, that's why they give you, if you're on fentanyl, they give you methadone to wean your body off.
Yeah.
For example.
All right, man. Mike Tyson, quick recovery. We want to see you fight and beat up Jake Paul. Well, at least I do, anyways. Just.
I don't. I want to see Jake win. I don't really care who wins, to be honest, but I would rather just see Jake do it. He's younger. It'd be fun. Either way, I don't really care. But
I get it. But just seeing Tyson win, it'd be nice, just for fun, nostalgia.
He's old, man.
Anything in boxing history, Canadian history?
Yeah, we got boxing history here. We'll go to the USA here. Mr. Sugar Ray Robinson, one of the most highly decorated fighters, stayed unbeaten on this week in boxing at 32-0. He won a 10-round close split decision in 1942 in the Mecca. For those who know what that is, that's Madison Square Garden against Marty Servo, the one and only Mr. Sugar Ray Robinson. So, what else can you say? That's a long time ago. That was 72 years ago.
Yeah, no, and I put Sugar Ray on my list of top 5 welterweights.
Sorry, 82 years ago. What's that?
So yeah, I even have him on my list as a top welterweight of all time. So make sure to check that clip out. We'll have
people
that
the counterflip to that go, he didn't fight. Those guys weren't as good in the day. They didn't train as hard. They don't know what they're doing. That's the same thing when people say Sugar Ray. Then you say Babe Ruth. Well, they didn't go against good guys. So I don't go to that argument. I say they did what they did in their era, but that's the counter argument to that.
Well, from era to era, you can't really compare. I mean, if you think about it, the way they trained in those days was top.
No, I know, but so that's why you hear some people, they don't put on Sugar Ray, they don't put on Babe, because they're saying, well, they weren't as good athletes, so we're way better now. So these guys are better. I don't agree with that.
No,
but that's what they say.
If you think about it, if you took Sugar Ray Robinson and brought him into modern time, just his grit and the way he performs, I think he could handle most of these guys. You know, I mean, that's just my opinion. All right.
Yeah, the people just like they like to knock the pass rate because they don't know. It's the same argument people get with Babe Ruth. Oh, he's not one of the best because he was fat. Dude, that guy still hit some of the furthest home runs of all time that are still on record. People haven't hit it any further. So it's like,
well, people are always going to hate on what they can't, achieve, right?
yeah. But as far as Canadian history, nothing happened in Canadian history this week.
Every once in a while,
we didn't have Canadian boxing isn't as prevalent as
the highlight of Canadian history this week would be our boy Mbilli destroying Kid Dynamite. Let's call it that, eh?
But I do have something I will bring up because this is gonna happen for us on the show soon. So the first review came in of Tiger's Tail. That's Raz Barrington's book that's going to be coming out soon. This is the first review, and this is coming from Luis Eisen. He's a boxing historian. He wrote this about the book. This is a well-written, fast-paced story that will ultimately have you cheering for Tiger's tremendous accomplishments both inside and outside the ring. So this book is starting to pick up steam. This is from our boy Fritz Roy, the Whip. He wrote this about the book: an inspirational read for any young immigrant or person who feels unable or unworthy to be successful in life. That's the review coming from Fritz. And then one more from Deborah Brown, who's on the Commonwealth Boxing Council. She says, passionately written, Tiger's Tail is a fantastic read. Raz Barrington Francis, Tiger's Tail, written by Paul Horat.
Can't wait.
You can get it now.
100%. You know what? I'm almost done the book, and I've loved it. Every page, every moment. Right from the beginning, I just thought this is just a great book. Kind of like when you read that first chapter, and you can almost picture yourself in the ring, and be a part of it. It kind of like it's great. I really enjoyed it. Can't wait.
Yeah, I would say that I only usually, when I do read books, it's always history books, boxing. Sonny Liston books, a lot of boxing history books, World War history books. But this, as far as a boxing book, of all the boxing books, I probably read about 20 or 30 of them. This holds its own. It's as good as it's a good book. It's solid. If it wasn't good, trust me, I'm not scared to say it's no good. It's good. It's good. No, a lot of good stories. Great story.
I've enjoyed it. All right, brother man. Can't wait to get those guys on, but it's time for us to take our leave and get back to what we do best, and being dads and being good people, man.
Yeah.
Everybody, the weekend is fast approaching. Again, enjoy yourselves. Go out to the max, man. Do what you got to do, but just be safe. Find your way home, and be there for your family. And most importantly, we want you back for Tuesday and Thursday for our show. So yeah, that's some important stuff there that you got to keep in mind this weekend. On that note, I'm Bobby Sampson. He's Mr. Chance Michaels. And
in the words of the great AC/DC, those that download, like, and subscribe to the podcast, we salute you.
We do salute you. And remember, anyone who hates on anything that you want to achieve, anyone who hates on your dreams, hates themselves because they don't have the guts or the glory to step up to the plate and do what you're willing to do. Never forget that. And remember this clip: people who hate on you hate themselves. Bottom line. Samp and Chance out. Okay.